Everybody ready? Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon now. Thank you for coming. As you know, the NYPD is laser focused on the real drivers of crime in New York City, the relatively small percentage of people who are responsible for the majority of the violence. Today, we're going to update you about several of the investigations that we're actively working, including the case of the homicide involving human remains found recently in Brooklyn. All of this speaks to the difficult, meticulous work done every day citywide by NYPD detectives. We did have an arrest in that case already. The subject had been charged with the unlawful disposal of a body. Those charges were upgraded late yesterday pursuant to a grand jury indictment against the suspect for murder. This investigation was challenging, and I want to thank Chief Essex and detectives of the 7-5 Squad and Brooklyn North Homicide. I also want to thank the Brooklyn District Attorney, Eric Gonzalez, and his team for the critical role they played in developing this case in the grand jury, which led to the indictment. Chief of Detectives James Essig, has more for you on that particular case and some others, and then I'll take your questions. Chief Essig.
Brief you on a couple of acts. We're asking for the public's help in a connection with an outrageous robbery in the Riverdale section of the Bronx. It occurs on Wednesday, March 9th at 8:20 hours in the morning. Two individuals approached a 35-year-old female who was walking with a 3-year-old son inside the lobby of an apartment. It's in a building near the Sedgwick and West Kinbridge Road. The individuals display a firearm and pointed at the female's torso and demand her property. Appallingly, they then point that weapon at the 3-year-old son's head. They remove the victim's car keys, cash, phone, and they take her auto. Here they are seeing if the victim, you see a good picture, pretty clear picture of them leaving the auto. So we're asking for the help of the public in this one. Somebody in the Bronx in this area knows who these individuals are. When before they use these weapons, pointing it at the 3-year-old's head during the commission of a robbery, as you see in this video we're showing now. Two males got a gun pointed at her stomach. The 3-year-old's right next to it. The gun's pointed at the kid's head. So anybody with any information, please reach out to Crime Stoppers at 1-800-877-TIPS. The second case I'd like to brief you out was a homicide that occurred on Tuesday, March 8th at 10 o'clock at night at 9th Avenue and West 19th Street. There were two victims in this. One was a male, 31 years old, who was shot and killed at the location. The other was a non-fatal male, 27-year-old. Yesterday, we apprehended that perpetrator in the crime. He is a Tyrell Rogers, male, 28 years old, residing at 347 East 167th Street in the Bronx. He's known to us with 7 prior arrests. We believe Mr. Rogers was seeing the same female as our non-fatal victim. There's an argument at the location. Mr. Rogers pulls out a firearm, firing shots, striking the person he was arguing with and that person's friend who was DOA on the scene. Yesterday, members of the warrant squad placed him under arrest. We then did a search warrant on his residence. We get his same black backpack he was wearing, the black Adidas bag with the fanny pack that he was carrying, and the .44 caliber weapon that we believe was involved in this. He was arrested and charged with murder too on that. Yeah, in this case, I'd like to brief you on a particular gruesome incident that was brought to our attention on Thursday, March 3rd, in the early morning hours. With me today is Chief John Schell, the investigative chief of Brooklyn North, suspicious DOA at the corner of Atlantic and Pennsylvania Avenue. Upon arrival, they observed a black plastic bag inside a gray bag in a shopping cart. Inside that black bag was a torso of a human body. Investigation into this incident led detectives from the 7-5 Precinct and Brooklyn North Homicide to gather evidence which led to a grand jury indictment of a Harvey Marcelin, a.k.a. Marceline Harvey, a female black, 83 years old, born a male but with the preferred pronoun of Miss, who was on lifetime parole for manslaughter and whom